Crystal Palace have experienced a fairly steady transfer window, a couple of incomings, but a window dominated by European speculation. But as the Eagles prepare for an eventual life without their star man, preparation and scouting will be put in place in order to replace the man so strongly linked to the Gunners. A name that's popped out of the blue for Glasner's side is a man who plays in blue, with Bilal El Khannouss. Now, Bilal El Khannouss is a player not so new to the channel, as he's a player that I've discussed quite a few times, funnily enough, in relation to the club that Ebere Eze is linked to. El Khannouss is a 21-year-old Moroccan wonderkid who made a name for himself in Belgium for Chants, before holding his own and impressing for the quite dismal Leicester City. Over 150 senior appearances later, and he's wanted by a host of European clubs, with a reported 22 million release clause looming in his contract. The 2004-born midfielder best operates in the number 10 position, in particular excelling with freedom to roam into different spaces. He thrives when drifting out wide, in the left half space, right half space, from deep, and even in the opponent's penalty box. El Khannouss can be considered as a technically creative specialist. If he's in a wide amount of space, El Khannouss will scan the area surrounding him very well, knowing exactly how much time he'll have on the ball and where he can go, as evident in his goal versus Tottenham. His quick, light, agile and nifty frame means he can turn fast on the half turn, and does so with intensity, with his first touch being very natural and careful. But what the young man exceeds at so well is the act of dropping in deep and build up, combining, moving, creating the passing combos all by himself via his hard-working attitude. His clever and proactive movement finds pockets of space for the benefit of his own team to progress the ball, as seen in this passage of play versus Brighton. His ball control for a 21-year-old is sensationally good. El Khannouss is so technically gifted with his feet that his footwork hands him the platform to escape any tacklers, any tight congested spaces, absolutely wherever on the pitch. The Moroccan can escape with an extremely cool demeanour. You could lever a football with extreme speed towards his way and he'd find a way to control it, bring it down, ready for that immediate action of turning forwards to create danger. You can comfortably consider his close ball control and quick feet to be a standout quality to his ever-growing skill set. But once a creative player actually gets the ball, it's time for them to do something with it, and El Khannouss doesn't disappoint. If he's left the attacking line to come towards the ball, then his ability to then carry the ball forwards is extremely efficient. Any opponents come his way, then he's capable of twisting a turn and to withhold or avoid that pressure. He glides past opponents swiftly, and because of his exceptional level ball control and quick feet, it ensures he can hold on to the ball for that moment longer to then execute a pass leading to more space for his teammates. There's many instances where he holds on to the ball for longer than he should, both good or bad. Bad because sometimes he could pass quicker, and good to pull an opponent towards him, exceeding expectations and making life easier for teammates. But dribbling isn't the first fundamental that springs to mind when you describe a creative number 10. It's passing, and El Khannouss thrives here too, averaging high for progressive passes per 90. As I've mentioned before, the Moroccan is distinctively excellent here, as his body execution when passing forwards along the turf isn't so obvious. His quick feet is supported via quick thinking, so this means when El Khannouss is striking the ball to the feet of an attacker, it's difficult for opponents to anticipate, to read, but also means his teammates have to be alert and ready, chemistry that can be developed through training and experience. But like all young players, he can be inconsistent here, but the passes or crosses on most occasions are so precise, so well weighted, so well struck that it's any striker's dream. Any runners in behind, and they're going to be found. When Leicester did have any joy last season, it all funneled through him, and any service Vardy got with his expert runs was all through the 21-year-old. Another area of inconsistency will be found in the final third, when it's time to shoot at the goal. There's a slight timidness that tinkers in his game here, and when it's time to shoot, he enjoys aiming for the roof of the net a lot, aiming to steer and almost gently guide the ball into the corner. But his lack of authority here comes from the fact that he's a more look for a teammate attacker and lay the ball off, not so much a give me the ball and I'll look for the top corner player. He's an unselfish asset. However, that unselfishness is a key element to Oliver Glasner's philosophy when we look at out of possession. So how exactly does Bilal El Khannouss fit Crystal Palace? Let's have a look. So this is how Crystal Palace look with Bilal El Khannouss and without Ebere Eze. Now of course we could see a world where both coexist together, and you could see a Crystal Palace team with El Khannouss and Ebere Eze, as El Khannouss is that backup for Eze. They need a bit of depth. They are going into Europe, but this is how it looks right now. Now Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace, as we know, put a lot of hard work and coordination into their off the ball shape, and Bilal El Khannouss matches this fantastically. El Khannouss is very hard working off the ball. He's fearless, he's proactive, he's very attentive, and he can be intense if you want him to be. He closes down opponents really well, but he can also stand off in that 4-4-2 shape he's been used to with Leicester. He's been on the left hand side of that, within the 4, and also the front line of that. So he's very capable off the ball. He's got good intelligence, good know-how, and good intensity when you need him to be. He's a hard-working player without the ball, when looking for the ball, and then off the ball as well. So Crystal Palace, as we know, they sort of press high within this man-to-man like shape. We have the wing-backs being quite aggressive depending on the opposition's shape. You have the right centre midfielder pushing up a little bit more as the high line pushes fairly high, to say the least. Sorry, man-to-man, coordinated, aggressive, and it works very well. And it always depends on the opposition's approach. But when we move into this middle phase, it moves into a bit of a 5-2-3. Now if we just push everybody back, obviously the wing backs could be a bit higher in this position, we don't really know. But you push the pivot back, and it's this front 3 that's quite consistent within this phase. It blocks any passing lanes, and El Khannouss, he fits this massively. He's great off the ball. And then when we push that even further backwards, it moves into a 5-4-1 instead, just to keep that compactness, to block any balls going down these side and isolating Munoz 1v1 or Mitchell, and it works a little bit like this. It's a very tricky shape, probably the trickiest shape with the players you have available as well. And against the bigger teams, against Manchester City in the FA Cup final, we see Mateta even drop back. So it's a 5-5, and it's incredibly difficult to break down. There's a lot of physicality here, probably one of the best teams in the Premier League, potentially even in Europe, dealing with crosses as well. So off the ball, I'd actually say Bilal El Khannouss is a little bit more hard-working, but of course on the ball, there's certain qualities that Ebere Eze brings that El Khannouss at just 21 understandably doesn't. El Khannouss within this system brings a lot of good things. His passing, his precise, accurate, brilliant passing can access the wing-backs like Tyrick Mitchell, like Munoz, and the runners overall, such as Ismail Assar, Mateta, Munoz, Mitchell. He'll be fantastic at this, and it's that easy access with his brilliant passing. His ball carrying with an open space allows him to drop within these areas, and in counter-attacks and transitions, it allows him to drive forward with the support of Mitchell, where El Khannouss is brilliant at drifting out wide and combining just fine. He could also be a late runner into the box, similar to the goal that Ebere Eze scored for Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final, but he's brilliant at all of this, whilst being able to drop in deep out of possession. El Khannouss works hard within possession, really to make the space for his teammates, create the passing combos, and to progress the ball up the pitch. So just like Ebere Eze, he can drop within these spaces and really make an impact. Although as we see Palace can play short, they can be very direct, with Henderson, with Lacroix, Guehi, Richards, Wharton, anyone really, and they look for Jean-Philippe Mateta to play off. Well, El Khannouss can do this very well, just because of his slightly slim, maybe smaller frame. Of course he's not going to win the aerial duels, but he can pick up the pieces from Sarr and Mateta and grab a hold of the ball really quickly. He can bring the ball down and then unleash Mitchell on this left hand side, or Borna Sosa. He quite literally plays like Eze. It is a like for like replacement. He really excels within the half spaces, and he's the type of player who can excel absolutely anywhere with his slight two-footedness. He spent a lot of time for Leicester in this right half space, but also the left half space, and out wide and out here as well, but also dropping in deep. So he's a fantastic all-round player with unselfish attributes that can really unleash the likes of the wing-backs, Sarr, Mateta and any other attackers that Crystal Palace will play. And when they do play short, you could see somebody like Kamara rotate with Bilal El Khannouss and get into some good positions to puzzle some defenders. He plays like Eze, he's a like-for-like replacement like Eze. My only concern about this is that of course, Ebere Eze is like 5 years older than him, so he's got that quality in the final third over him. But Bilal El Khannouss doesn't quite have that X factor in the final third. El Khannouss isn't a player that's give me the ball and I'll put it right into the top corner, whilst Ebere Eze is. Now El Khannouss can glide past opponents just like Ebere Eze to an extent, but Eze brings that X factor. He arrives in the final third, he takes penalties, he scores a large chunk of Crystal Palace's goals at times, and he is in a large portion of what Crystal Palace do when they move forward. So Bilal El Khannouss maybe will not be so good replicating this. You could do maybe with a bigger attacker or somebody here that could do a little bit more, because El Khannouss just doesn't quite bring that area of his game just yet. He's still very young, he can do, but he's more of a creator than somebody to finish off a move. That's not to say he's not capable of it, it's just the type of player that he is right now. But for 22 million, Bilal El Khannouss I thoroughly believe will be a fantastic sign-in for absolutely anybody. He brings so many qualities, and just because he doesn't have that end product like Ebere Eze, it doesn't make him a bad player and it doesn't make him a bad fit. I think Crystal Palace could look elsewhere, but if you do land on Bilal El Khannouss, then you won't be disappointed. You'll just have to ease your expectations, because this is still a very young player, a fairly raw player to English football. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Where do you think Bilal El Khannouss should move? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.